You are listening to selfdiscoveryradio.com with an orchard of wisdom just ready for your picking, filled with illuminating, inspiring stories. Do check out the community and the discovery stores. We are here for you. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Channeling Ascensions. I am your host, Sarah Troy, along with my guest host, Christina Hill, and her beautiful spirit, Athella, who will be coming in to join us somewhere in the show. Athella is her guardian spirit. She comes in with her beautiful divine wisdom at some point in the show. And we have a great guest today, Neo Positivity. He is actually on our show called Thoughts Become Things, bringing every week a beautiful edition and interviews with people and how we can change our thoughts into something that serves us, that's more positive, more productive, and redirecting our ego thoughts into productive thoughts in this new year is essential. You know, we were just talking about opportunities that have been given us, which requires us actually to take a leap of faith, literally change our lives and step into something, that next chapter of growth and of productivity. And sometimes we allow our thoughts to talk us out of things when really we should be embracing this beautiful opportunity and go with the wind. So each one of us has kind of done a little opening statement here, which I'm going to read before I bring them on. I have actually said thoughts do become actions. How do we ascend our being positive actions? That serves not only us but our community. On this show today, you'll be hearing from the four of us, in this era of action, what chosen thoughts can we propel ourselves into? We have to be mindful not only of what we say, but what we think and how the vibration in which that we say it in, and is it inviting that action into the right positive direction? Christina says, did not know that thinking is activity. The body, in the manifestation of that activity, you are literally an energy field that vibrates, and whatever thoughts you choose to think will emit that frequency, and that will change everything in your world from within and without. Knowing this kind of information is, yes, we have all heard it before. Think positive thoughts becomes positive things, but are we really living this? How do we get into a place where our lives, we are originating, redirecting our thoughts, observing and releasing thoughts that don't serve us, and holding only the thoughts that we want on our screen in our beautiful minds? So Neo actually says if we ever have been alone in a struggle, then find out that we're not alone. It's an amazing feeling. Life in itself is a huge struggle for a large percent of the population, but struggle or not, you're not alone. A friend is a phone call away. Hope that you can manage your thought process from the mental torture that it might be now to a most peaceful moments is just a phone call away. And a smile is a phone call away. You're not alone. So welcome to the show, guys. Christina, Athella, and Neo. Wonderful to have you back here again today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. It's my honor to be here, truly.
Thank you, and thank you, Neo, both of you. I can feel the positive energy exuding, just really flowing really nicely this morning. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, I mean, both of you are people that have embraced redirection in your life. You've both had your chapters, and decided to come away from your own torture and step into a new meaningful life of purpose. But that didn't just happen where you just took a jump and there you were. You had to change your thoughts in order to embrace that action. So for each one of you, would you like to share a moment, of what was that moment when your thoughts changed that propelled your action forward? Neo, I'll start off with you.
I know it was the movie The Secret. One of the guys, when I was a police officer, my partner had done some work with the CIA, and they make a lot of their people, well, all their people watch that movie. And he brought it to me one day, and it just cleared up so much. It cleared up everything. I knew what I had to do. In the movie, I don't know if you remember, they asked you to either think about a butterfly or a feather. And, soon you'll find one. And I saw the movie by myself, knew what I was doing. And the next day I went outside and there was this huge feather dangling in my windshield wiper. And I still have that feather today glued up on my work area. And once I knew that I had this kind of seems like magic. Once I knew that I had this control, I was obsessed with it. I needed to figure the ins and outs and know how to work it at my will, and that's been my passion, my study ever since.
Mm-hmm. Dina?
Well, I'm just going to go off the ledge here a little bit. I don't generally, I don't like to share the story, the past, me, and I don't get in these stories because they percolate the energy of past, and that really is something I'm very careful with in my work, in my practice, and with clients, with people I've met with around the world, because we truly are here and now. So I want to preface this with, we are actually here and now, and that we're not the story. That the story is something that happened and that it's not happening now. Mm-hmm. So with that, for me, it came more gradually. And before I met Athella, I was just living in, I think the best way to call it is darkness, just real darkness. And for me, it came, I was held hostage in a foreign country. I had a gun to my head. And I realized then that my life was really in this pit, right? In this bottomless pit. And for me, just to get out of that situation and you know, being homeless and just living in degradation, I just felt like there's going to be some reason why this has all happened. Through that journey, I did find things like The Secret. I found in a bookstore, just walked in, and the first book that lit my eyes up was The Power of Now. So I read these materials, and then I studied and researched. I had very limited resources, mind you. It just didn't have anything at all, starting from nothing. And I did my own research on my own. I didn't have any mentors or guidance, but I did have this calling, this inner voice that was telling me that this is like you're going through your psychic death. You're going to be transcending all of this and transforming. And I was institutionalized at one point, and that was when Athella, and now I know who Athella is, but at the time I didn't know what it was, but there was a phenomenon in my throat. There was something tugging at my throat, something that wanted to be let out, some energy that wanted to speak. And it was through this just riveting, you know, terror, fear, pain, depression, all kinds of things, and from addictions. I came and was risen up by all of this to meet Athella the day that came, which was on a Tuesday, meeting Athella in the most uncommon way and really unexpected way. And she's actually the catalyst for me to just say, hey, look, you can continue through this suffering, and she called it's like egoic suffering. You can just continue on this path, or I'm going to show you a few pictures of where we can go, and I'll teach you all you need to know about this thing we call channeling. And you'll be traveling the world, you'll be building a company, you'll be having team members and everything that you need, you know, but you won't know how you're going to get there. And so through all of that was a real process, and just over the course of about 7 years took me to where I am now. And I feel like it's important to say that story, it's compelling, and I literally don't spend very much time thinking about it. I think it's so important and critical that we detach from our stories and that we really fully realize this nowness, the quality of now. And we put ourselves in the highest vibratory state when we're really literally just in presence, and we're breathing, we're in our bodies, we're being. And that from there we can originate our thoughts, which is what I was mentioning in my little paragraph there. And I'd love to hear both your thoughts about this, about how we originate our thoughts, how we can sustainably, not just one day on a good day, but how can we sustainably hold the thoughts of the visions that we want, and then release the thoughts that maybe are habitual egoic thoughts, negative thoughts, the thoughts that talk us out of things, or you know, take our energy way down, we're in a low frequency. How do we sustain the thoughts that we want on a regular, ongoing basis?
I'm going to jump in there and say, for me, the thoughts are felt. I have to feel my thoughts. Thoughts are random. There's constantly a dialogue going in. I've got a mini movie always going on all the time, and it's just like moving pictures or sounds or this or that. But until I feel something, I don't truly understand what thoughts mean. And I have to feel it from the soul, heart, and spirit level to actually understand what those thoughts are trying to guide me. And where sometimes I get into frustration or even depression is when that clarity isn't there. I'm out of sync with the soul, heart, and spirit. So the mind's in confusion, and then it starts running its rampantness. So being in alignment and at peace and centered with myself is very, very important. And one of my healing tools is that it's not only working with other people, because that's the healing aspect for me as well, but also music. And that helps me get myself centered back into again so I can understand what the thoughts are trying to tell me. Neo, what's your thought process?
It's funny. This is actually where I'm steering all of my research now. Out of thoughts become things, and the laws of attraction and life coaching. I think this is my area that I've been guided into. The egoic mind frame that's kicking you in the butt all the time, shooting down your dreams. But I think of it like this: if the ego's a lawnmower, and every time your grass gets too high, every time you try to dream too high or whatever, it comes and, clips the head off the grass, and the ego's not going anywhere. It's always going to be there. We're never going to get rid of it. Instead of changing a lawnmower, which you can't, change the grass to corn. Now, the blades are going to come through. They're still going to do damage, but it's going to be a different effect. It's not going to damage you as much. So basically changing your thought process, changing how you see the things around you. Well, the ego has no choice but to affect you differently because it's affecting a different you. It's affecting a different thought process. So that's one of the things that I've been working on. And I got to tell you, it's been a crazy ride. It's really like magic. Like I've been doing things. I try to do at least one thing a week that's so quote unquote magical that it almost turns my stomach. Like how it happened. And so yeah, that involves so much discipline. So many exercises and exhausting.
Oh my goodness!
It really does. Once you change the way you see everything around you, the ego has no choice but to respond and react differently.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean that's what it is.
Christina, I know you're champing at the bit here.
I want the words really zing out of you, Neo. It's so that it's just we need to keep saying that. And I mean the quote unquote leaders, because we're all leaders. It's just the four of us here, but we're all leaders. We're all the teachers. There's no one better than anyone else, although ego would say different, right? But there needs to be, I think, a repetition of what Neo has just said that becomes more commonplace in our conversations, in our conscious conversations, and then the redirection for our beloved loved ones and in our community so that people know that there are other options, there are other ways to retrain your brain, to reframe, really, the thoughts. And in conversation, I'll often do this, and you can do it to varying degrees, but to guide people, to help people to really turn their thoughts, to put them at a curve so that you're coming around and you're actually seeing that person, you're helping that person state what it is that they really want, and then getting away from the talk and the percolating of the energy of what they don't want. Because it's very common. Just go outside, go anywhere. You'll hear conversations everywhere about complaints, what's not right, how their bodies are not, the physical body vehicle is broken down, not working the way that they want it to, or some combination in between. And it's very common. It's an epidemic. And thus, it's important that we help, I think, as a community, help ourselves first, of course, but in the grander scheme of things, that we continue to say that it is a discipline, and it also is possible to redirect with ourselves and with others, to redirect these thoughts so that they're more in alignment with what it is that we want, and it changes the vibration, the collective consciousness changes. And Neil brought up something so important, is the discipline.
Yeah.
Is truly discipline. It's like we did not get here just in one day, and
Right.
ego is not going to let you slide on that one at all. It's a continued walk, a continued practice, and discipline is like taming meat. Like you put a collar on that thing, and really so that you're able to live with ego and manage it, balance it, making the thoughts, not making the thoughts, but really that the thoughts that come from you are truly ones that you wish to emit, and we empower our choice.
Well, it's what you feed grows, right? And we know that, they say it takes 8 positives to undo 1 negative. So, the old rubber band on the wrist actually did work. Like, people will say, oh yeah, but, that's never going to happen to me. Well, take that rubber band, snap your thing, now redirect that. Yes, it can help me to me because I'm open to receive. And it's those 8 positives of gratitudes that you need to do to replace the pattern. And eventually your patterning will change along with it and be wanting to feed what is possible and not looking to the naysaying. We're so good at talking ourselves out of things. Of being afraid to take that next step. And we're all guilty of that, going with your latest posting on Facebook there, Neo. Changes that you're about to take. And the reason why you haven't taken them or had the trepidations of taking them is that you owned up the fear of that change. But when your heart is speaking to you so much and your spirit is saying, let's go, you can't deny that anymore. And your thoughts have to change and accordingly. Right, Neo?
Yeah, you got to make the adjustment. There's no point in working against the universe.
Right.
I think that's a losing battle every time.
Every time. Yeah.
But you know what? I think that so many people, especially in America, everybody, lazy, wanting a quick fix, get rich quick. Everybody sees this like a black belt. It's something they want to obtain and always have when it's actually a state of mind. You can be in it 1 second and out of it for the rest of the day. So how many seconds are you going to spend there? Each individual moment is its own precious moment, and it deserves the attention and energy to stay positive in the face of the negative. And I think that's life's test. Can't you stay positive in the face of the negative?
And that's a challenge, isn't it, folks? Huge challenge, because the negative is grasping hold of that fear, grasping hold of that ego, everything that you've known, and you literally can freeze right up. As an ex-police person, I'm sure you've faced this yourself, but you've also seen it in other people. Why didn't you react? Didn't you defend yourself? Well, our fear just cripples us completely and stops us from moving forward. While our emotional fear is going to do that same thing. And it really does take a positive mindset and thoughts to talk yourself out of that terror so that you can move away from it. But we do have to recognize that emotion of the moment. It's not denying it. It's understanding it's there, but don't give in to it.
And retraining your thoughts.
Retrain. Yep.
This is actually something new I've been working on. Taking it with me to Los Angeles is one of my biggest things. And I want to run it by you guys and see how you guys feel about it. I just, basically, it's like this. To go, I thought to myself, no matter how many cars I own or have or in the world, I can only drive one at a time. And so I think it's the Hindus. I kind of took their thing, how they see things and I was like, okay, I'm going to call that God car. No matter what car I'm in, it's God car. He's just coming to me in different forms, different shapes, different sizes, so I can just appreciate any car I'm in because it's God car. And so I took that and applied it to things like God outcome. Okay, the outcome of any situation, we'll just call it God outcome. So let's say you wanted your boss to do whatever, give you a promotion. So, and your boss, let's say his name is John. So what I do is I say, John, who's made of pure energy, because he is, everything is made of energy. John made of pure energy, my energy, the energy that is me, that is all of us. Okay, so now I've put him in the realm of, he would never do me wrong. He has the same objectives as me. He wants to see me do well. He wants to see me flourish. So John, made of energy, pure energy, is working with God outcome. to give me, the happiest days, smiles, to feel good. And that right there takes away the John supervisor who's been treating me wrong, who doesn't want to see me excel, who wants to see himself do better than me. And once you really start to look at things like that, not just John, you could look at outcomes, you could look at situations, you could look at a car, a house, a plumbing situation, it doesn't matter. But once you put that in there, plug that in there, and realize it's made of pure energy, your energy, and it's working with God outcome, which is working directly with you to give you what you want, it kind of changes the way you see things. And I got this, a lot of people that I love and care about, I didn't know this until about 2 months ago. A lot of people that I love and care about, most of the scenarios they're running throughout the day, at the end of the scenario, they're not coming out on top. And that just destroys my heart to know that. And so I started coming up with different ways to tweak it and things like that. Instead of spending dollars, I spend the E's. I don't like to say energies because it just sit well. Certain, semantics of everything, certain words don't sit well. So I'll say, my New Year's resolution is to spend 2.1 million E's in 2018. Can I spend $2.1 million? My ego steps in, starts chirping in my ears. Well, you'd have to do this and do that. So to avoid that, can I spend 2.1 million E's in 2018? Of course I can. I'm made of energy. I'm unlimited. And it's these little ways of tricking the ego to bow down and shut up while I'm
Yeah.
Little ways like that I try to come up with to help people, because you're going to have to trick the ego.
Yeah.
I have to trick things. So that's just one of the things that I'm taking to LA with me, and it's really over the past few weeks that I've been using it. Pure magic, pure magic.
I think California.
I think that's yes, exactly. I think California is going to be ready for that. Absolutely. That's a great way to dance with ego. I was just, as you were speaking that, and it's like speaking, and I just see a great dance going on with the energy that you're working with, and you're finding the ways that resonate with your body. It's like a full integration system. You're finding the ways that resonate with your body to speak. Words that are tripping up ego, as you say. You're getting around the ego and you're finding ways that work for you. I believe this is also a test for every human being, is to find the ways that you're going to work with your ego to manage that energy and to rise above, really. I think it's so important what you said, Neo, too, about we are limitless. If we think about that intellectually, that's one thing. If we know it in our being, that is different. And if we're actually living from that space. And how do we live from that space? I believe, in my experience, my sense is that it's coming to a place where we understand that we are energy, we are light beings, and that the thoughts are not the totality of who we are. In fact, they're a very small part of who we are. The thinking is just like the dog chewing. It's just the activity. And if we stop for a moment every day in our meditation, we will see this. Because ego and the chatterbox is just all the time. Let me get my teeth on something else. That's what it does. His ego loves that. And I think we were talking on another show about the frosted flakes of ego. It's
yes.
Like, pick a topic, and I'm going to go at it like just a kid barreling through, just That's what ego loves. If we get beyond that, though, we come into our real being, our energy, and we can do this many ways. I think we should just, discover and explore that in this show. The many ways that we step away from thought world formations in the head, from what's going on in the head and the ego. And we illuminate ourselves with energy. We feel our beingness, or as Eckhart Tolle will call it, it's the presence, our own presence. And if we do that, that's part of the disciplined practice, right? That's going back to there are no quick fixes. This is an exploration. This is a self-discovery every single day. Then we feel our own nature, our own being. I mean, we're doing it right now. We're actually doing that. It's not a doing even. It's a being. We're a being it now.
Yeah. You know, I say painting our canvas. It's if you paint the picture of what you as it is done and not as it you want it to be, you already have told the universe. Now, the universe might give you a slightly different picture or way or ways of getting there, right? But it's, for instance, I'm going to be talking to an organization, a homeless organization. It started off with me commenting on something that they posted on Facebook and me posting at one of my homeless shows. It started a dialogue. I love what you're doing. Let's meet. I was going to contact them in the new year. They contacted me. They're working with the owner of the organization, with the social media, with everybody else. It's like, I've asked this year to be action. This year, I'm only accepting action. Things that are productive, progressive, and that take those wonderful seeds into growth. And that is the picture I'm painting out there. Now, of course, the old ego comes in and says, who do you think you are? Why do you think we're going to go on to do anything with you? You haven't got the financial plan. I am the financial plan. I've painted the picture of what's possible. I'm not going to limit it by putting numbers on there. Because if I put the limitation of numbers on there, I'm saying we can only do that. I'm showing the possibilities of how we can generate money. Let the money come. Let's not limit what that picture is going to be. Let's, plow that harvest and see, who is going to buy the wheat. And that will be the ones that sustain everything. Let's not limit ourselves. And I think we do that. We limit ourselves by putting absolute on something. And I think one of the things we need to understand with our thoughts, dream big, go wild, go exceedingly high. It will settle down to what it needs to be. But if you keep limiting yourself or putting a full stop, you're not allowing your whole picture to come into fruition.
I just wanted to touch on something real quick, the whole limited. When I first started studying all this after I saw The Secret and read The Power of Now, those were the real, they were the beginning of my journey. I used to ask people how to picture themselves unlimited, and I could not get anyone to fully do it. They end up giving up. And that's when I realized our whole lives we're taught limits.
Yes.
As soon as we're born, you can only reach so far. You can only scream so loud. You can only jump so high. We're taught limits our whole life. And then we have our parents teaching us financial limits, teaching us to get a regular job, making $50,000, $60,000 a year, take one vacation a year, then retire when you're 65. Those dream big ideas that they plant into our minds. So we have a lot of things working with us when it comes to feeling unlimited. But the only way to truly feel unlimited is to fully recognize that everything that exists is made of energy, and you are that energy. And I can't think of any other way to get that across to anyone.
Energy is limitless too. It has no boundaries. It is forever and forever. Christina.
That's right. Yes, I so resonate. I'm in the frequency that you're in as well. In my work, the same thing. I've seen individuals who are exceedingly motivated, Fortune 500 executives, those who are with great wealth, celebrities and the like, who wish to expand in consciousness. And even those people have difficulty seeing themselves as limitless beings. Or when we say the word, Athella will often say, you are a light being, you are vibrating in such a way that your frequency, it's just impossible for you to conceive with your human limited mind, but just know that you're energy and that's everything, and that you're a part of the whole. When we say those concepts, it's very much on, I think for some people, it's on the intellectual level. And if you're someone who's listening to this, that's not bad. It's great, in fact. You're hearing it with your ears, it's going into your body. And then from there, I think it's a matter of every single day, get yourself in a very relaxed state. Just be in a very relaxed state. Close your eyes and breathe. You can start this kind of meditation where you just focus on your breath. You could have a focal point, such as a candle that's lit right in front of you. You could do any number of meditations coming back to your true nature. That is how you begin to realize that you are energy. When the light bulb goes on, that's when the limited kind of thinking, those old paradigms, that's when you're able to kind of like take the pickaxe and kind of chip away at this old programming and free yourself. And all that's required really is a willingness to do that every day. And I'm saying here to dream big, to these lofty dreams, these huge thoughts of what it is you truly wish to manifest, what it is that you really want. I think every day, a little bit more and more, you can open your mind, expand your mind, start to see yourself where you want to be. And if it's very uncomfortable, because you're probably your body's going to be in this kind of like hiatus, right? You're going to be like, oh my gosh, there's no way. I can't even think like that. There's no way that that's possible. Just keep on keeping on. I believe it's a matter of practice, and as time goes by, you'll get more and more comfortable with the expansion of your mind. And I believe that tricking your ego is something that's very important in the stages of creation. So you may want to pose questions. Rather than affirmations, you may want to ask yourself questions, because that will be easier at getting around your ego. So going back to the millions, I've worked with people who's manifesting in the millions, and that's part of their awareness, their consciousness, is asking the question, why is it that I seem to always have millions flowing into this account? Or why is it that millions just seem to show up right at the perfect time and I connect with the right people? And these questions, your mind automatically the ego will start searching for answers. So if things are not helpful for you, then I would suggest also posing questions. That's also a really cool trick. It can help you, speed up accelerate the manifesting process if you find ego is really cutting in the way.
There's something else I think, I'm doing obviously something here with the self-discovery community that is different. And as somebody said to me, I've never seen a business model like this. And they say, you're going to ask people to fund this book. It's going to raise money for whatever that organization is, say veterans. And that money is going to go into a kitty that then affords the service from the people in our service directory, people we've interviewed that are coaches and counselors and people like yourselves. And who do you think is going to do that because they're not getting a tax break? I said, no, they're getting a conscious break. This is their contribution to humanity, and they're choosing a particular subject or a particular type of organization that they want to sponsor, and they can take pride in that they're standing up and helping these people, that their conscience is investing in that with no return other than the fact that they are contributing to the benefit of these people. And I do believe there are plenty of people out there with big pockets that would like their conscience to be spent, and that's what I'm tapping into.
They're out there. They're definitely out there.
Yes.
I was just saying this to someone yesterday. A lot of what I do is extreme selfish. I hate to say it like that, but I know that if I give $1 and appreciate the fact that I was able to give $1, I'm going to get 10 back. Mm-hmm. And the same goes for my energy. The same goes for my time. So being an upstanding citizen, a good person, it just comes back to me.
Yes.
So it's like one big circle. And it is kind of selfish, but yeah, it is what it is.
I think that I feel like spirit or universe is kind of whispering here on this one, Neo, though, that there's this outlining that we do as humans where we say, I should be doing this, or I should be spending my energy this certain way. I think that the forms, it's okay to fall in love with certain forms, and we're here to enjoy the forms. Whether it's the Ferrari, the $1,000,000, whether it's, there's no should-haves. They don't exist. I really think we can be completely limitless, and we can feel like we are still contributing, and that's an interesting thing to do about these ideas of selfishness and money and wealth, consciousness, and abundance.
Absolutely.
And I think that those things combined, there's a lot of misinformation that comes from, it's not even from us, it's from our grandparents and from our parents, right? And it's this limited kind of thinking, this lack consciousness. I think it's phenomenal. Whatever form you are attracted to, whether it's, the mansion, whether it's the yacht, or if it's, the word philanthropy and what that means, anything that draws to you, your forms are going to be what you play with. And as Athella says, you play. Yeah, you play with them like you would a ball. You play with them like you would a ball, and you're a kid, really. And you get, pointing back to The Secret, you get to pick and choose from the catalog. That's why we're here. We're in the physical to play and have fun and choose the forms that we want and not feel guilty about that.
Now, like
Not
I say, go and make a shootload of money. Please do. Because the more you make, the more you have in your conscience to contribute and see the opportunities for others. So if you want to be a millionaire, a trillionaire, good on you. But what are you generating? What are you seeding? What other opportunities are you creating for other people? If it's money to be, count in the ivory tower, counting your gold and me, mine, glum, no, the wrong set of mind. Whereas I've got all this money, and if I plant a seed here and I plant a seed there, and I invest in humanity and I invest in the planet, and I take pride and joy in seeing this all grow, I would love people to be that selfish. Definitely. Because be it what you do with your riches, that will be the enrichment of your character and the enrichment of your soul.
It's love. It's all love.
It's
all. That's what I love about Thoughts Become Things. It's like a perfect four-dimensional spiderweb. It strings together every aspect of life. Like once you really study it and get into it and see the common sense of the basic root of it, it all just makes sense. And with Thoughts Become Things comes the feeling of it energy. Because if you can manifest one thing, then you can manifest anything else. So that's a great way to, make people feel unlimited. But you got that side of people, that most of the people I know that believe in Thoughts Become Things, they do the good stuff that happens to them, not the bad.
Right.
And that's where they're straddling a fence. They're not completely dedicated to it. And it's just, to me, you got to own your stuff. The bad stuff happens to you. You were watering those seeds. As humans, we worry. We naturally worry. So it's kind of like, you got to own it. Somebody I had an interview yesterday, Neil Pinkman, he said to me, imagine that every single thought you have comes true instantly. He said, how much would you change your thought process?
Yeah. And it is in the now. It is in the instant. We don't realize that. That's the vibration you're putting out.
That was it said. He said, in actuality, it is instantly happening. It's just on a, like maybe 1/100th or 1/1000th.
Right.
But, when you think about it like that, and I hit somebody with that last night, somebody that's new to the whole concept of Thoughts Become Things. And when I said it, we were on the phone, but I know her jaw dropped to the floor. She felt
I believe that's where we're headed anyway. That's the 5-dimensional being that we're stepping into in 5th-dimensional living. We're coming into this where our ability to manifest, the alchemy, the process is speeding up tremendously. The more in tune you are, you better believe that the more rapid your ability to manifest things is already in the unseen. And I believe that Athella says to people, your thought process, if you knew how powerful of a creator you were, you would literally never think another negative thought again. Because it's true that we hold it in the unseen. As it leaves our mind, we've got this amazing tube of energy flowing through us, through universal source all the time. And so we're just giving direction to that energy through our thoughts. Or you can hang out in the form. That's another cool thing too. And monks do this. You monk in the monastery. If you want to hang out in the formless, one individual I know that does this a lot. You can see the Dalai Lama, of course. Athella is another one. If you observe their being, there is not a whole lot of thinking going on there. There are thoughts, of course. There is more being than thinking, and they're hanging out in the formless. So when they do go and think, the thoughts that are coming out, they're very creative. They can manifest wickedly fast, and honestly, they don't even care. Like it's like
they've stepped into their knowingness.
Exactly, they're detached from the outcome. There is zero external energy. And there's trust. There's just trust in the now, trust in life, we could say. We are, the safety, the knowingness. That's the 5D being that we're all heading towards, that we're all moving into. And isn't it great? Isn't it awesome? That means that we can wash ourselves clean from any of the old repetitive patterns. We can see those things really clearly when they come up through our day. Okay.
I think we're going from horse and cart energy to Maserati energy.
Very much.
Right?
Yes.
And we're going to see an escalation of energy turned up. I've been saying this for a long time. The universe is turning our volume up, turning our volume up. And this year, you really are going to see things get into that fifth gear.
Yeah.
You know, the 8 in 2018, it reminds me of the infinity symbol, you know, infinite power, infinite wisdom, infinite energy, you know, which power and wisdom are energy. So it's just infinite energy. And if you can use that 2018 as a reminder, every time you see it, every time you think about it, as a reminder to stop and smell the roses, to stop and be present. I always say that when you're thinking about the future, you're manifesting a like into you think about the past, you're manifesting a like incident to your life. But when you're being present, letting God's plan for you unfold. You know, if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. Because his plan is so much bigger than yours. And the only way to let his unfold is for you to stop watering seeds, for you to stop proactively manifesting things. The only way to do that is to be still and be present. And that's why that is the greatest source. That being conscious, that being present. That's why you get the best results out of it, because that's pure energy.
Well, we're in numerology 11. And, you know, 11 is a very, very cosmic number. It is a very high energy master number. And so, you know, we've gone into the third dimension breaking away, the fourth dimension as people waking up in their thoughts, embracing their consciousness. Now we're very much stepping in and stepped in to the fifth dimension, and other dimensions are going to be opening up. We are going to be seeing this a great, great deal. And I believe that Athella is going to create a moment and speak to that, because we are now speaking in her dimensional speak. I'm not... We just allow a moment to come through.
Give your energy color. It is useful for humans to work with images. Give the color sound. Play music. Hear music, attach it to a color, and put this in your body every day. Humans, you can also drink the elixir of life, which is water. You do not need anything else but water and light foods. You can write out the story of your magnificence, what you wish to create. And you can place this on your water glass and drink it. These are suggestions for attuning yourself, being in alignment with your soul. There's no one standing by to judge you. Humans, you judge yourselves. Relinquish those judgments. This idea of being in the now is foreign words to most. They don't know what it is to be in the now. What you must do then is to be with others whose predominant state is being. You have the internet. See images of others who are being. Be close to this light, to this energy. The energy field of now is indescribable. No language can describe it. Your mind cannot understand the concept of now. Without future or past, ego feels uncomfortable. Ego will try to pull you away. In the now, the light shines. Be with others whose light shines. The children, the dolphins, those who are evolved and who reside in higher dimensional planes. There are humans who do this. Develop community. Be. Every day be in nature. That will teach you being in the now. It can be a scary thing to step away from thoughts, to step away from ego. Nothing will happen to you, dear ones. You are safe. Practice. Back behind my words, there is a pulsating energy. It is relaxing. It is natural. While you are in the physical, enjoyment is the order of the day. There is no strain or struggle. You are beings, designed and equipped for being and enjoyment. I love you.
Thank you, Athella. Always such wonderful wisdom coming through from Athella.
Thank you, Athella.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you.
And she said something very poignant, the color of our lives. How many people don't wear color? And color is something that's very vibrant. It has an energy of its own. And stepping into the physical color can actually help people receive you in a different way. They pick up on a particular energy. Wear a color that you feel your energy is in. Let that be a part of your expression of your own energy. It becomes additional. And,
Yes.
be your own song. And let it come in your tone of voice. Let it come in your exuberance of life. Be your own dance and the step that you take. It's all about you embracing you and the beauty and the divineness and the message and the edge of you and being out there and sharing it with other people. Don't be afraid of what they will think. That's their thoughts. Step into who you are as a being. And those that are ready to see and feel the energy will embrace that. Those that aren't are simply not ready.
It is, I believe we're talking about harnessing energy.
Mm-hmm.
It is the best playground ever, our current physical existence here at this dynamic time on the planet. We can harness energy in so many different ways. There's a psychic quality, a higher dimensionality to music. Mm-hmm. So when you're feeling really revved up and creative, put on that music, get in the flow, start to create. And every day as you're visioneering, you got your vision board out, you're really putting yourself in that vibration. Turn on the music and really amp that up. Be in that state. Use the music to harness. And the colors, as Sarah, you pointed out, this is a time where we can play with the colors, we can have that electricity flowing by way of color, and we have so many different colors to choose from. And with our animals and all the tools that we have, even the air that we breathe, just breathing in fresh, pure oxygen. And be aware that we're breathing it all, to make breath.
How many people go through life without even, just remember to breathe, because we do so many things automatically. And if we're aware of what we do, we can be more conscious of what we do. Hey, Hill?
I back on top of that and say, about knowing yourself, know who you are. When I do affirmations for myself, I might have to reword them 12 times before I get a place where every word makes me feel great. And I've noticed that with music. I put on I put on a playlist and I listen to it, and one of the songs just didn't have me on cloud 9 anymore, and it had to get deleted. That playlist specifically has a goal: make me feel good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Knowing yourself has a lot to do with all that, and like I said, rewording affirmations is a really, really big thing. At the end, you said something about being designed and equipped to life. I think that's what you said, and that's so key. We are meant to love and feel that greatness, and if you're not feeling that, something's off.
Yes.
Change from negative to positive, from bad to good. You have to proactively do what you have to do to get there, which goes back to what we said, discipline. These practices got to be every day. The brain is a muscle, has muscle memory. We need to change what it's used to doing, and it's easy. It's a muscle. Practice.
Yep.
Practice.
Yeah, lift those weights every day, right? Yeah, and
and that's, speaking of that too, I believe that our body has to be a part of the key component to doing that training as well. If we're getting our pulse up there, if it's coming off of our body, we're moving our body in a way, as Athella says, that we enjoy, so we're moving our body joyfully. That's different than exercise, by the way. That's different than working out. Those are in a sense of things, outdated terms that kind of lead us to a different thought process. Like, in the 80s, I'm imagining Jane Fonda, and just like we're doing the exercise just for doing it. Where I'm going with this is that our bodies, as we train our bodies as well, we're training the inside, the outside. Those chemicals are released. We're feeling great. It puts us in the vibration that we need to be in to really make those changes, those daily changes. So while you're moving your body, everyone is in this 5D being, everyone is moving their body every day, and their bodies we're athletes, so we're training our bodies. As you're moving, you're also releasing these endorphins. You can then go through your affirmation with yourself, visualizing what it is that you want to manifest in the moments that your pulse is elevated. So like when you're at your quote-unquote runner's high, or whenever you're at your peak, that's another way, that's a form of channeling, it's another way of manifesting. And it does change and rewire those brain neural pathways, and so that you're getting in the habit of strengthening these muscles, the muscle of the will, the muscle of concentration, of manifesting. You're just getting into the habit of it every day. That's the only thing that's really, I think, missing. The missing link for a lot of people is just the practice of this every day, the discipline, as we said.
But, discipline, don't make it a duty, because then it becomes a chore.
Yes.
Do something that you love to do. There's a passion you like to spend. Put on the music, get up and dance. You look like an idiot. Who cares? You get somebody else to dance along with you. It's about finding what it is that gets your body going, that has you into that energy, that has you feeding all of your senses. The moment it becomes a chore, I've got to meditate, or I've got to exercise now, and it's a chore. You are not going to give it the energy that you want to do it. So go and do something you like to do, right? And make sure that you do it with exuberance.
Whew. Yeah.
I love it. I was thinking something you said a couple seconds ago. The ego's not going to stop. Obviously, we know that. One of the only ways I know to slow down is to meditate. And obviously, there's two different types of meditation. One where you clear your mind, and one where you're actually thinking about something. They call it guided meditation. I call it intense visualization. But the only way to really slow it down that I found is to meditate. Slow your mind down, and it will slow down. And I just want to offer this quick advice, especially for people who are living in the rat race of life and are really, really into it. I'm talking work on kids, then go to sleep and repeat. When you're picturing yourself somewhere, whether you say you're on vacation, you're in the Bahamas, I got the promotion, my son's got all A's, whatever you're saying in those affirmations, try to stay in it just as long as the sentence. Because as soon as that sentence is over, the ego's coming. And you don't want to water a great seed and then spend the next 3 seconds proving to yourself that that's not true, because that's what the ego's going to do. So stay in it just as long as you're saying this, and then leave. And then if you got to say the sentence again, say it again. Yeah. But don't try to stay in it too long, because the ego will win. 60,000 thoughts on average per day per person, and something wakes you up from every single one of them. The ego's going to win. So don't try to marinate in it too long. Use your tools. Learn how to work your way around it, and you'll be successful.
That's about being in the now, isn't it? And find out where your meditation is. For some people, it may be out in nature. You know, you're out and your thoughts are just flowing along with the trees, and you're in that now. And if you kind of step out of your thought process and you step into your feeling thought, and those trees, that wind, whatever you're doing out there in nature will give you the thoughts that you're meant to have. That's where you need to be open and channel and receive, and not perceive what you want to know.
I am a sucker for nature, a good view. Any
Yes.
good view, and you got me. I always say, no matter how you could be the biggest thug in the world, if you go to the Grand Canyon, when you see it, you're going to stop. Something's going to take you over. Next week, as you know, I'll be in Los Angeles. I'm going to, every day, I'm taking my tripod, I put my phone on and put it on the beach. I'm filming the beach, go live on Facebook on the beach, and I'm just going to speak over the waves. And that's one of the things that I enjoy the most in life, is just that view and speaking my heart, coming from the heart, creating everywhere it comes. And so, stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And that's definitely sharing your now.
Yes.
And those moments, they become beautiful little nuggets of memory, and we end up with this just absolutely beautiful bowl of memories of those nows that we've had. And you, as you said, if you prolong that now, I want to hold on to it, I've got to extend it out, that's where you start contaminating it. When it's just, that was a beautiful moment, the next moment can be just as beautiful. Or just like music, different musical notes. When you look at it, it's created a symphony. It's created a song. So don't get stuck on the one note, even though it sounds beautiful. There's another note waiting to happen.
Yes, yes.
Anything you chase will run from you. Anything you chase will run from you, and that's including holding on to that thought too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you wanted to say, Christina?
There are seldom in our world, there are seldom these moments where we're able to pause. In the radio, in media, in schools, your place. My wish for everyone listening to this is that now is the time to take a pause and come back to now. Come back to what's real right now. Neo, I fully appreciate what you've shared, and I feel it to the bones about nature, what you're saying about nature. That's precisely why Athella took us here to this sanctuary, which is right in front of the Gulf of Mexico, and we do pyramid excursions to these sacred sites where we can get out in nature. And my other retreats that I do in the U.S., we specifically have these retreats in nature. There is something powerful and unspoken in these landscapes. It takes us right back to ourselves and allows us to connect to ourselves. We are part of nature. And so that's very powerful, a powerful point I wanted to mention. And also, for those that are in the matrix, you're deep in the matrix. You're going in through the front door every day is like, get up and go to work, and responsibilities and pressure, and I know that life. I think we all do. We identify with that. Our lives and the way that they flow, it just seems that we're in this rhythm. And I want to say to that and speak to that you can take little pauses, create them throughout your day actually. Plan little pauses where you have the ability to come into the now and to just breathe. I have one client she is the director of a rehab center. She actually goes into the restroom to have a session with myself, with Athella and her guides. That's the only place that she can find peace in her workday. And she's very quiet. She gets very quiet for a few moments, and that's her meditation area. So you can create this, whether it's in your car, maybe you're in the shower, feel the water dripping on your skin.
Yeah.
Make that your meditation. If you're an early riser, you're a runner, feel every step. Put your attention on your feet, and that's your meditation. Or going outside, as Neo perfectly said, it's going outside, feeling waves, being with the sound, and letting go of thoughts just for a while, because your thoughts will be waiting for you. I mean, they'll be back. You can bet on that. It's okay to take a break from the thoughts and to center yourself having a focal point, in my experience, has been very useful in our meditations, no matter what it is. You do not have to sit upright like a monk in a monastery when you go into your meditation. You can be shopping with your kids and your hands are on the shopping cart and you're feeling your hands. That can be your meditation, you know. You can meditate in prison. It does not matter where you are. You just bring the meditation, the mindfulness to wherever you are and stay with it. And that is the kind of mind mastery that is required, that you build that, like strengthening your muscles. That's what's required to be the awesome manifester that you are and to get very efficient at it. And the only thing, again, that we're pointing to is just the day practice, the daily, you know, mindful practice. Yeah.
Well, something that Neo said earlier about, you know, like having your music list and a particular song just not speaking to you anymore. It's the same as when we find a place. You know, I find water a most beautiful conduit. It's a place that completely rejuvenates my energy, whether I'm swimming in the water or I'm showering, bathing, whatever. That water is so beautifully vibrational. It's paying attention to what is feeding us. If it's not anymore, if it's not that particular walk anymore, if it's not that particular exercise anymore, it means that vibration has changed for you. The energy has changed for you. It wants you to go in another direction. Don't become dogmatic over something. A lot of people, to be spiritual, I've got to be doing this and I've got to be doing that, and you become rigid. The whole thing about embracing your divineness and your knowingness is to go with the flow. The discipline that we're talking about is being able to tap into that beautiful divine energy so that energy can lead you to where to go. Discipline is giving yourself that space, that time, that breath in order to step into that, to channel it. Everybody can channel. That's what meditation is. The discipline is the allowing the space for it to happen. But don't become dogmatic at it. In channel, if that channel is not working for you.
You know, I always have to get in people's face sometimes, and I ask them, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
How bad do you want peace? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want the things you want to manifest into your life? Do you want it bad enough to be disciplined and do these mental exercises all day? And people say, you know, I'm too busy. How can you remember? Do what you're forgetting to do. Do you want it bad enough to put triggers around you? You know, my phone says look up. If you text me, my phone's going to say look up in my voice as me reminding me to look up and be thankful for something. You know, when you're all day long, it's like you're being tested by God himself. Can you stop in the middle of all this rat race and be present? Can you stop and smell roses? Can you stop and give God your energy back? I always say every moment we're alive, we're given one energy dollar to live. What will we spend with? What will you spend it on? Now, when you take that energy dollar and give it back to God, man, that's what it's at, you know?
And limitless. There's the limitlessness again.
Yeah. And that's
limitless possibilities there.
And you said something earlier about the monk and it's so funny you said that. When I first started meditating, I wanted to sit Indian style and upright, and my back was killing me. And I'm like, if I ever meditate, if my back isn't
right,
and, you know, I guess it was just me being naive at the moment. But you know, everyone should know. Find your place for you. It's custom. Life is all custom. Find your place.
Yes,
precisely.
It goes back to if it feels good, do it, and you'll find the feel good. The most important thing being that you do it every day. I agree with you, Neil. It's like, let's lean forward, all of us, all four of us leaning forward, the forward-moving energy. How bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Like, really get very, you know, it's time for a truth session with yourself, and like, really, how bad do you want it, whatever it happens to be. And if that motivation is there, that's actually a very powerful, we call that passion. It's a drive, and no one can give that to you, by the way. You can't buy that. You can't borrow it from someone else. It's got to come from inner hunger, that flame. And if you got that, then the things that you need will arrive. They will show up for you. The hows will appear, and you will be able to keep on and to keep growing. And I believe, Neil, that was part of your path, is like Okay, it hurts my back to sit upright. So you found your own way, and with the affirmations as well, going through, writing them down until every word is saturated with love and good feeling. And so we got to find our custom fit. If the motivation is there, it will come.
Got to be proactive. Got to be proactive in our own lives. We're so busy handing it off to someone else. Oh, I'm not allowed to do it, or society won't accept me if I do this, or, government won't let me do that. No, be proactive in your own life. Be the empowerment and the enrichment of your own life. You are abundant, waiting to be spent. Stop denying yourself. Stop limiting yourself. Stop making excuses for yourself, because you are everything that you want to be. And as he said in one of his opening statements, you're not alone. You're never alone. Not only of the God and the powers that be with you, so are the people you need along the way, if you're willing to be proactive in your own life.
Yes.
You can't lie to yourself.
No!
There's so many. I about 30 seconds ago, you said the government and this person and that person. When you're pointing fingers and all that, it is what it is. But when you stop and you get in a room by yourself and you tell a lie to yourself, you feel it in your chest.
Yes.
The knot goes down and you don't like how it feels. When you stop lying to yourself, you notice so many different ways to lift it off your chest. You start to take responsibility for the good and the bad things that happen to you. And life starts to shift. Thoughts become things, becomes easier to realize. Your infinite wisdom, your infinite energy becomes easier to realize once you stop lying to yourself. Mm-hmm. It all starts there.
Yeah. Like that good old eyeball to eyeball in the mirror. Now, what were you telling me?
That's the one person you lied to.
Exactly.
Yes, truly. We are abundant beings too. I would love to do a show on this idea, this truth, really, not idea, the truth of who we truly are, which is abundance in all forms, in all areas. And I believe now, as 2018, we're in it, we're seeing this expansion, this growth, is that we're needing to knock down and pierce some old paradigms about our wealth consciousness, about our abundance, about who we truly are, and step into and ascend into really our abundant selves. I would love to do that with you, Neil and Sarah, because there's a little bit of education, I think, too, here about what these forms are, who we are, our energy beings, and our relationship to the forms, such as wealth, money, and the material things, the worldly things. That comes up for me because, especially after we've talked a lot about energy, about thoughts becoming things. And as things materialize, are those things what you want? And if they're not, there seems to be an understanding amongst a lot of people that somehow that we're not worthy of the things that we want.
I also think there's a misunderstanding of what abundance is. And, as a society, we're being taught that we need permission to be abundant. And that to allow abundance in our lives is to be ecocentric, to be selfish. But we need, as Neo said earlier, to step into selfishness, to be as abundant as we can, but not run us over. All right? And everybody else around us benefits from that abundance. But I think what we do need to do is actually understand what is abundance. And I think we most certainly should come back and do another show on that.
Definitely. So I'm in for it. It makes me think I had gotten, back in October, someone had paid me an absurd amount of money to speak. It absolutely blew my mind to the point where I went on Facebook and was talking about it. But I needed everyone to understand that dollar amount didn't matter.
Right.
I didn't care about that. The fact of the matter was I said I was going to manifest that, and then I manifested that. I wielded magic, and that leaves unlimited possibilities for the future. That's why I was amazed. That's what shocked me. It was like I did it on call, and that right there, that unlimitedness, it's hard to find, but you can find it, but you got to realize your power.
Yeah.
But it's also
Or
don't
power.
deny your visions. I was saying to Christina yesterday, one of the visions that came to me, and I said they come to me in a form of like a movie, a series, or whatever, is that I was approached by a digital net to have these podcasts on there. To have self-discovery on there and all its beautiful orchard of wisdom, and it's like, okay, that is absolutely feasible. I'm putting it out there to the universe. I'm absolutely open to receive. I don't have to dictate to who it's going to be, where it's going to be, or how it's going to be. Only the fact that I'm open to it happening.
Yep.
Right? If we step outside of the dictatorship of how should things be, and just
Oh, my
believe
goodness.
in that it can be, it will happen as it's meant to be.
That's right. That's exactly right. I've had so many people tell me in my own experience in growing a company, being an entrepreneur over the years, I've had a lot of consultants, people who I've consulted and worked with who are not in the know of these beautiful truths that we're highlighting today, and they'll have these words such as "that's crazy,"
Yes.
"that's not a business," "that's not a business model."
All the time.
Or to even say, Christina, how can you call Athella or the universe your CEO? That's outlandish. How are you going to manifest, how are you going to create something if you don't know the how, and yada, yada, yada. And I think that is, it's just, it's changing. We're moving into fifth dimensional living, and we're in a new paradigm, folks. It's like, so if you can learn to control your thoughts, and do the discipline every day of being the one who is steering the ship, get hold of that steering wheel and be the one steering the ship. Learn how to turn off the thinker, identify the fact that you're a light being, you're an energy being. Own it, not think you are, but knowing that you are. And then testing, starting with small things, that's ideal for a lot of people. Testing as you're growing in your manifesting ability, testing with small things first, and limiting yourself, not letting anyone else tell you the hows, the shoulds, and all of that, but you're really literally looking up, looking to universe to be the one to figuring out the hows. It takes a lot of faith, a lot of trust. It is a radically awesome, kick-ass way to live. I mean, it's magic. As Neo said, there's no other word to describe it. It's magic.
It's truth. It's truth. If you really want to know what truth is, it's this state of being.
Yeah.
You have to, it's funny, I guess I steal the president's words, you have to protect yourself from threats both foreign and domestic. Foreign, outside influences, social media, and domestic, your mind.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
It always comes back to the ego. Mm-hmm. That's the voice that's going to step on your dreams and shoot you down. And once you defeat that, repeatedly defeated, I should say, because it's not one defeat. Once you repeatedly do what you have to do to win those small battles and water the right seeds, change your world, which is our world. So we change it together.
There's something I want to point out is, Oprah Winfrey just did a beautiful speech on the Golden What's Her Name Awards, and she's certainly been a woman of invitation now for a number of years. And as a spiritual being and coach and counselor all my life, to watch her step into her spirit, step into this alignment, share it with everybody, expand it, is absolutely beautiful. But what I've noticed, there's a campaign going on out there by the Christian society to attack her, and that she's speaking the devil's speak. And it's like, when you're speaking your truth, when the water starts shaking around you, because people are becoming afraid of that empowerment, of that truth out there. And, that just means it will empower her even more. But, we have to understand, we are all Oprahs. We all can step into that empowerment, into that truth, into our own love, into our own purpose and meaning. And yes, she's in the media and kind of leading the visual way, but that doesn't mean we can't be her in our own lives.
We can channel her.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. She's over there, and I'm over here.
Yeah. And
I have 60,000 thoughts today to contend with. So I need to be me.
Yes.
I need, and of course, she leads by example, and I take advice and stuff from other people. But at the end of the day, I have to be me here with what's going on up here.
Right.
Yes.
But you
That's
can be
it.
inspired by her
Yes.
to be a better you. And that's
Yeah.
what we're doing right now. We're inspiring people to step into their beautiful inner abundance and be a better version of themselves. Not that
I
there is
love
anything
that.
wrong with them, but you can be so much more. Stop limiting yourselves, right?
You
Don't
make
let the
me
ego.
you made me think about a situation that's really heavy out here in New Jersey, specifically Camden. People can be a better version of themselves until they at least get a raise or a different job that pays
Yeah.
a little bit more. And that is such a horrible misconception.
Yes.
Money is made of energy, which is you. So, you know, and that leads back to a different way of seeing the world. You
Yeah.
have to see money differently, or it will be your supervisor. It will have that supervisory position. You will chase it, and it will run from you. If you see it as a part of you that could never leave you, you no longer have to chase it.
Right.
That's why I replace money with energy.
Yes.
Like my daughter, she cracks me up because I'll be like, "How much does that cost?" And she'll be like, $25, and I'll be like, "25 what?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way.
And that's purely how I see it as well. Every time people try and pin me down to a dollar, it's like I look at it as an energy and how abundant and exuberant it is. And you've just capped it at a dollar mark. I don't care. And I think this is exactly what we need to cover in our abundance show.
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. And just a point or two to get to this, because Neo, you are in a wealth consciousness, just very, very clearly. And I myself, I'm proud to say that my ego, no ego involved here, just very. I've also developed a wealth consciousness. I think the people that we have seen as mentors, colleagues that we've worked with, are also in the wealth consciousness. And Sarah, you as well. This is not something that happens in a day.
No.
No.
It could
Not
be a
something
battle
that-
every day too.
Yeah, no, I've been homeless before. I mean, I've
Yes,
lived
me
in my
too.
car. We have stories, that date back to where we can remember feeling this lack, this separation, the shadow of
Yeah.
ego and the money and all of that being separate from ourselves somehow, and the need, right? The feeling of I am needing, and therefore there's something lacking, and these are all states of awareness, of consciousness, and they can be rare, and you're doing it now. If you are listening to this show, you're doing it now. You're changing your vibration, realizing that you are the money. You are the awesome creator. And to feel differently on the outside, to see different pictures, we've got to change on the inside. And the inside meaning the thoughts that we hold. I believe, Neo, you said something very poignant too about I'm responsible for me. I'm dealing with me first. It's got to start with, Bill Jackson said, the man in the mirror, right? Mm-hmm. And so we've got to begin. It's not selfish. It is the selfless way to live. Begin with yourself. Begin becoming more mindful of your relationship with money, with all the forms, not just money, all the forms. What kinds of thoughts are you holding? Just pay attention. No need to judge. Just pay attention. You might want to write those down so that you can create new thoughts that you're going to repetitively say to yourself again and again through feeling emotions. I have one client who literally slapped up tons of different pictures in every room to help change the thought patterns that are going, running rampant through the mind so that they're more positive thoughts. Whatever you have to do to change those thoughts and feelings, do it.
Exactly. And, we have to realize that that energy that you're talking about is a frequency. And when you raise that frequency, you raise that energy, you are raising it into empowerment, into that abundance. And the way we look at currency, I have to say I'm pretty useless when it comes to that monetary currency. I can't speak it very well at all because I speak in cosmic currency. I speak in energy currency. That is where I truly see the enrichment and the abundance of. I have a little bit of a disconnect with the other side of it, which is one of my challenges. But because I see the real value is in humanity, in the love for one another, in the kindness and in the supporting and in the celebrating of each other. That is where I truly see the real beauty of love and light and the real currency of life. So we are definitely going to be doing here on what abundance is and how to step into our own abundance, how to have a relationship with money and with forms, as you put it, Christina, that, because it is a huge thing when it comes to thoughts, isn't it, Neo? That money and our self-value is being very much judged by a dollar number. And this is something that we need to get our thoughts over.
Well, I always tell people, each thought is like a house. And you can put pretty carpet and decorate the walls all you want. But if your foundation is built on crap, it's built on crap. And I'll give you a perfect example. Empty out your bank account, give away all your money until you have $4 left until payday. Your every thought, no matter how pretty you paint those walls, is going to have the foundation of, I got $4 until Friday. And it's going to suck.
Yeah.
It's going to impact on every single thought. So the beast is there, but you got to just find ways around it.
Yeah.
You got to find ways around it.
So to change that, what direct intervention in the thought form or the affirmation would you suggest? I mean, when you just said that, I thought of a couple different affirmations to counter that. What would you suggest for someone who's really paycheck to paycheck in that kind of mentality?
Something that most of us haven't really done in a long time, and it's called play make believe. We need to get back to our childhood. If you're broke, you don't have any money, then you more than anyone else need to find a quiet corner somewhere in the bathroom, okay, and use your imagination and play make believe.
Yeah.
Trust me, it works.
It does.
It works.
Yes, it does.
You were talking about it a second ago. There was a point in my life where I go to Wendy's and get the $1 bowl of chili, and go to the store right behind it and get a $1 thing of white rice, and that is how I fed myself and my kids. And that was like 3 days a week I ate like. And the other 2 days I was at Dad's house or go have taco at one of my friends' house, and that was the spot I was in.
Yeah.
And I had to get out of it somehow. And as much as people want to point fingers outward, where else are you going to start but with you?
Yeah.
Where else are you going to start? Thoughts start in here. You try to affect the world, it all starts up here. So you got to start with you. So many people point fingers outwards. I'm this way because of him, and I got fired, or my boss did this. No, it all starts with you. If you think your boss is going to treat you like dog do, then when you go to work and he treats you like dog do, you can't blame him.
Right.
But first you have to know about the laws of attraction.
Yes.
Which is what we do.
Yeah. Well, we're coming on the show here, and clearly, obviously, we could take it a lot further, but we will. On the next show, we will take it off into abundance, and God knows where else we will go with it, because we go with the flow, we go with our channeling, but we've learned a lot today. I encourage you folks not only to listen to the show again, but listen to it with friends or family. Be there to support one another. Write things down that would become permanent to you, that, yes, I do this. And I'm asking people to say to me that if I say something like that, because I'm on a loop, to nudge me into changing that dialogue, into changing that thought. Let's be there for one another and support one another. This is the reason why we do these shows, is that we want to empower you to be all that you can be, because we believe you can be. And we're here in some celebration of that. So please do share. Please do form a Thoughts Become Things show party, or a Channeling Ascension shows party, and have your friends listen to the shows together and dialogue about it, because you're going to learn so much about yourself when you're willing to share that. Okay, so I would like both of you, please, to close off by letting everybody know how they can get hold of you, your shows, and everything else. Leave us with a little infinite nugget of wisdom. So, Neo, I'll go with you first.
You know what? I'd like to first say thank you for you guys to have me on. The positivity and the pace of this conversation has set the pace for my day. And so that's 60,000 thoughts right there. I'm going to be worse positive because of that.
Excellent.
Yes. Yes.
Appreciate that. As far as where you can reach me at neopositivity.com, I do Facebook Lives. I have a show called Thoughts Become Things on Self-Discovery Radio, and another show called Off the Bench on RV and TV. You can find all those on my website, neopositivity.com. And as a closing statement, I can't say that Become Things What you focus on the most in life will grow. So no complaining. No complaining. Own your good. Own your bad. How bad do you want it? Change your future.
Yeah.
Change your future. You are unlimited. You are with me. So let's change the world together. Let's go.
Amen.
Oh, let's go. Whew, I feel like I just got in a different car. We hit about 60 an hour, and then we're just going upwards from there.
Maserati time.
It's right. It's right. It's like it's an amazing trip. We're having so much fun, and I want the listeners too to get in the car with us as well. Be in this vibration, not just for now, but for the rest of your day, and for the nows of your day. That's all we ever have is now. It's truly, you don't know where your next breath is coming from. And that is great. That's the trust. That's the owning the now. We can just be here now. It's wonderful news that we don't have to live in the past. We don't have to trepidate over future. We can be in now. It's just, that's beautiful. That is liberating. I'm so thankful and grateful, Sarah. Neo, this has been the best scenic ride, high-speed ride. I'm looking forward to more and just high octane because there's so much energy and we're sharing it with all, and we are all connected. So you're tuning in, you're tuned in, and thank you for everyone listening for sharing our energy as well. I feel you. I can feel everyone right now. And to share just a bit, Athella is an ascended master who came to me and just revolutionized my life. And you can learn all about her and what we do at Athella.org. That's ATHELLA.org. We have retreats. We have live events all over the U.S. And we also do appearances, of course, on this show, Channeling Ascension, and we do live TV appearances as well. And you can find what resonates with you there. Most importantly, though, is to come back to yourself and to be with yourself and to start with the inside. Remember that you're not your thoughts. The thoughts are a small piece of who you are, and you're learning through this, training the brain, those mental muscles. You're training them, and you're taking control of the thoughts so that you start creating the thing you want, originating those thoughts. And I believe in all of you. I'm in love with all of you. I'm so happy to be on the journey. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you.
Well, I thank both of you. I mean, there is a reason why you're both hosts of DiscoveryRadio.com. Your exuberance, your energy, your conviction, your truth, your passion, and your love for other people, it always exudes out in everything that you do. And I'm very, very proud to have you here on this network, and also where we're going. And I invite people to look at DiscoveryRadio.com/community and look at where we are going and what the community is all about and how we're going to be serving more organizations and more people in the future under our umbrella of our community, because I'm a firm believer that when we start feeding other people, investing in them, in believing in them, and showing them how awesome they can be, they will step into their own light, and they then shine upon everyone else. So the more we help others, the more others are able to help everyone else. So please come and see the community and see what we're doing. If you want to be a part of it, you want to ask questions, please do. I'm very excited about it and very, very driven by the divine to do this work, and it's something that my core, my very, very being of me is very committed to doing, for it is me. You are getting me in everything that I do. So I'm very proud to have both of you here on with, and to you listeners out there, remember, share, listen again, talk about it. This is what we're here for. We're sharing our energy. Spend that energy, share that energy, and you're just going to see the beautiful effects of it. We've got the Abundance Show coming up in the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned, and I know that you're going to enjoy that show very much, because we will get more into the nitty-gritty of how you actually can invite and manifest your own abundance on all aspects of your life. So,
absolutely.
Neo and Christina and Athella, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Neo.
My honor.
And until next time, folks, bye for now.